Hello, I am a main Invocator with a gear score of currently 6.3k, and today I'm showing you my current loadout for PvE single target content, aka bosses. First of all, I'm leaving skills, specialization and mastery nodes on the screen for a few seconds for those who want to pause and just quickly check it out. And now, for everyone interested in the finer details, let us begin. Our overall plan of attack here is to stack maximum mana and mana regeneration to push our damage numbers, as well as utilize damage over time effects for curse explosion, while keeping the theme of a Firemage alive. So, how do we do this? Starting with our focus on maximum mana, we mostly do it because of the once weapon mastery attack node Warrior's Gambit. This one turns the healing bonus per maximum mana from the weapon passive Noble Revival to a percentage increase of our base damage. 25% of the total healing bonus will be applied as an enchantment bonus to our base damage. So, healing is increased by around 3% per 1000 maximum mana, which results to 90% healing increase at 30,000 maximum mana. Due to Warrior's Gambit, 25% of the 90% is used to increase our base damage, which results to approximately 22.5% more base damage. In addition, we use the staff's weapon mastery attack node Power Surge, which increases our maximum damage by a percentage depending on our maximum mana as well. In case of Power Surge, this caps out at a 4.8% multiplier at 30,000 maximum mana. Please note that the weapon mastery node Warrior's Gambit and its regarding passive Noble Revival do not mention a cap like Power Surge does. But we know Throne Liberty has its problems with descriptions and translations. I am currently at 29,000 maximum mana, so I can neither confirm nor deny whether Noble Revival has an upper limit as well. If you know, please enlighten me in the comment section. Our last scaling buff with maximum mana is the staff's weapon mastery node Spirit of Perseverance, which decreases the duration of debuffs on us by a total amount of 9%, also kept at 30,000 maximum mana. Our next focus lies with mana regeneration. We want to always stay afloat with our mana management, even during prolonged boss battles. And there are a few passives which profit from a high mana regeneration value. For one, we take the staff's weapon mastery node Strategic Compromise, which boosts the additional skill damage from our passive Forbidden Sanctuary, but also makes our skills cost more mana. Then, we got the staff's weapon mastery node Mana Shield. Since we are mostly stacking maximum mana instead of maximum health, we need to be tough. For that, Mana Shield increases our defenses by a flat value and an additional bonus depending on our mana regeneration, which is 150 plus 20% of our total mana regeneration to all our defenses, which results in around 500 extra melee, ranged and magic defense at 1500 mana regeneration. Please note that your mana regeneration in cities and guild halls is buffed and may result in values far above your stats during boss battles. Then we've got the staff's passive Mana Ball Eruption, which has a chance to fire an additional damaging projectile when firing bombs and projectiles yourself. That chance starts at 5% and scales with mana regeneration. With around 1500 mana regeneration, we stand at a total chance of 41% to fire an additional projectile. This synergizes really well with the staff's active skill Fireball Barrage, which shoots up to 20 projectiles with its specialization Fireball Frenzy. Now, let's take a look at our actual skill rotation, so we know what to look out for when we need to decide between stats in equipment and weapon mastery trees. Our skill loadout has three parts. We've got our stacking rotation for stacking and exploding damage over time effects. We've got our hard-hitting spells, which we try to cleverly weave in our stacking rotation. And we've got our buffs to push our damage and cooldown rate. Our stacking rotation starts with 3 consecutive fireballs. Each ball applies 2 burning stacks, or 3 if it crits, so we stack at least 6 burning debuffs on our target. We are using the staff's passive Flame Condensation, which increases the burning damage and additionally heavy attack chance per burning stack. So we want the burning stacks maxed out at all times. So next, we cast Inferno Wave with the Burning Specialization, which can give us up to 5 more burning stacks, and will most of the time cap out our burning stacks on our target at 10. Next we cast Decaying Touch for an additional damage over time debuff. Decaying Touch is a skill specialization of the once corrupted Magic Circle skill. Decaying Touch is also a projectile with a very slow speed, so we cast another spell in between to give it time to reach the target before using Witching Hour, which increases duration of curses on the target, resulting in more damage over time and total damage output for the curse explosion. But I'm rushing ahead. Let's take a step back. The spell after Decaying Touch is Fireball Barrage. As mentioned earlier, its specialization Fireball Frenzy synergizes well with burning stacks. Since we got 10 stacks on our target, Fireball Barrage will fire 20 projectiles, which all have a chance of around 30% to proc the passive Mana Ball Eruption. After that, our Decaying Touch has most likely reached the target, so we apply Witching Hour, a specialization of the one spell Karmic Haze, which increases our curse's duration by 5 seconds. And then we let it explode by casting Curse Explosion with the specialization Dark Explosion, which may deal only 50% of its potential damage, but does not consume our damage over time effects. At last, for our stacking rotation, we've got the Touch of Despair spell. This is a damage over time spell with a low cooldown, and a lot of wand spells rely and synergize with it. So you want to weave a Touch of Despair cast in your rotation every chance you got. It can stack up to 3 times. Please note that the explosion of damage over time effects via Curse Explosion includes burning and poison damage over time effects as well, but only happens at all if there is a curse on the target. So at least Touch of Despair and/or Decaying Touch must be active on the target, or there will be no exploding damage over time effects at all. As for our buffs, we are using High Focus for a higher cooldown rate with the Base Damage Boost specialization, which increases our maximum damage. Our second buff is Valorous Barrier. It is a specialization of the Blessed Barrier skill, which also increases our maximum damage. And our third buff is Enchanting Time, a specialization of Time for Punishment, which increases our skill damage boost. If your stats buff duration and cooldown speed are high enough, you can keep Enchanting Time permanently up. Our last 2 skills are Hellfire Rain and Detonator Bombardment. Hellfire Rain is a specialization of Infernal Meteor. It is quite a big area of effect spell and deals a good amount of damage and up to 10 burning stacks, if your target is big enough for most of its 12 meteors to hit it. Please note, these do not count as projectiles and will sadly not proc Mana Ball Eruption. The second skill, Detonator Bombardment, is somewhat special. It is an alternative form of the Ice Spear specialization, Ice Spear Bombardment, which is unlocked by the staff's weapon mastery node Heat Fusion. Detonator Bombardment will shoot 10 lightning spears, which each deal additional damage depending on the dormant burning damage over time on the target, and then consume 1 burning stack. But how does that work? Okay, let's say a burning stack deals 500 damage per second and stays for 10 seconds. So its total damage will amount to 5000 after 10 seconds have passed. 10 burning stacks will then deal 50,000 damage in 10 seconds. So what happens if Detonator Bombardment hits a target with 10 burning stacks on a 10-second duration? The first spear hits. It deals 80% of the total dormant damage of the 10 burning stacks, which is 9000, and then consumes 1 stack. So the second lightning spear hits the target, which now has 9 burning stacks with a total dormant damage of 45,000. So the second lightning spear's additional damage results in 8,100 and consumes another burning stack. Since there are maximum 10 burning stacks and a total of 10 lightning spears consuming stacks when hitting, there will be no burning stacks left on the target afterwards. The extra damage dealt by detonator bombardment amounts to around 99% of the dormant burning stacks over time damage, without considering crits, heavy attacks and the likes. But there is a way to increase that percentage and even keep some burning stacks alive after detonator bombardment finished. The lightning spears do not hit the target at the same time and are slightly delayed, so new burning stacks can be applied in between the first and the last lightning spear for more damage. The best way is to cast Hellfire Rain before detonator bombardment. Hellfire Rain's 12 meteors are slightly delayed and can be timed to apply more burning stacks while detonator bombardment is in the process of consuming them. Next, let us take a look at our passives. We do take Mana Ball Eruption. A lot of mana regeneration means a lot of extra projectiles and damage. We take Asceticism. We do take this passive here for more mana regeneration and heavy attack chance. We also take Mana Amp. Maximum mana means more base damage, and maximum health is something we need nonetheless for survivability. Then we take Flame Condensation and Forbidden Sanctuary, as mentioned earlier. Then we also got Noble Revival, which improves our base damage through the Warrior's Gambit Weapon Mastery node. Then we have Full of Corruption, which does not do anything against bosses, as we do not kill a lot of weakened targets during a boss fight, but we changed the passive with the Malicious Focus Weapon Mastery node. Now the passive stacks with landing 1 skills instead of killing targets and increases our magic damage instead of bonus damage. Since we are a pure magic caster, both our weapons profit from this. The last passive, Vampiric Contract, is an all-time favorite for all wand users. In its base form, a percentage of your damage is also restoring a friendly target's health or your own when no friendly target is selected. This is a great self-sustain, especially for solo content like the Hall of Illusion. Its Weapon Mastery variant converts the resulting healing to extra damage instead. A whopping 70.4% extra damage for every damage source you have. Depending on the content I'm playing, I usually swap some mastery nodes around like this to adjust for extra damage or extra self-sustain. Now, an additional combination of available weapon mastery nodes to support us and synergizes with our current setup are the nodes Dual Cast from the staff's weapon mastery and Corrupting Hit from the wand's weapon mastery. The Dual Cast weapon mastery node causes our staff's auto attack to fire 2 projectiles instead of 1. That means each auto attack has 2 chances to proc Mana Ball Eruption and also has 2 chances for Corrupting Hit to apply a debuff, because the Corrupting Hit has a 15% chance to apply Decaying Touch, Touch of Despair, or Time for Punishment. So either one of 2 damage over time effects or a debuff which decreases the target's skill damage resistance. This helps us in keeping 3 stacks of Touch of Despair active on our target, which in turn increases our auto attack damage by 10% per stack up to 30%. As for other weapon mastery nodes, we use the wand's weapon mastery node Malicious Intent, which boosts our curse damage. We also take the Abyssal Burst node. This one causes a small curse explosion at 12% effectiveness to trigger on our attacks with an 8% chance, without consuming our damage over time effects. Next, we got the mastery node Nightmare. Nightmare has a 20% chance to apply Dream Demon, a sleep debuff whenever we use Touch of Despair or Time for Punishment. Nightmare also triggers on Corrupted Magic Circle, which we do not use, and Time for Corruption, which does not seem to exist. But after some tests and consulting the official Throne and Liberty Discord, Time for Corruption is most likely the Decaying Touch specialization of the Corrupted Magic Circle, because both skills apply separate damage of time effects, and both skills can trigger the Dream Demon debuff from Nightmare. The Dream Demon Sleep cannot be applied to bosses as far as I know, and I only have it active for the mobs that come before. You are free to spend the 10 mastery points elsewhere. And at last, we got 2 nodes active because of our point distribution, but we do not use them. One is the staff's weapon mastery node Arctic Thunder, and the second is the wand's weapon mastery node Shadow Oath. As for our mastery passives, we take Potential, extra attributes for more base damage and extra stats. We take Deadly Viper as an additional, albeit unreliable, extra damage over time effect. We take the Dragon Ascent for extra initial damage until we reach 60% mana. Depending on boss mechanics and party members, extra procs during the boss fight are possible. And we take the Falling Flower. Since we will be throwing around mana like nothing, this will be proccing regularly as well. Alright, that's it for the skills, passives, and weapon masteries. Now, about equipment. I will keep this as short as possible. As for artifacts, I'm currently going for a full Chaos Harbinger set. But since I'm currently sitting at around 1700 critical hit chance, I might be swapping out 2 pieces for stats that give me more survivability. For example, the Ancestral Armor for the 1500 HP bonus. My equipment consists of the Daigong Staff for more fire and burning damage, and 2 pieces of the World Tree set for maximum mana and regeneration, and the Sacred Vanquisher set for the damage over time increase. But I clicked together a new set on Questlog GG, and I'm currently working on building that one, which will include the new legendary weapon and chest armor, as well as 2 pieces of the Spectral Overseer set and the Elder set, which will result in more crit damage and a bit more damage over time. While choosing my equipment and rune combination, I focused on as many attributes as possible, especially Wisdom and Dexterity. All attributes increase our base damage, but while Strength, Perception, and Fortitude distribute that increase on minimum and maximum damage evenly, Wisdom and Dexterity put it all on maximum damage. Since we are building for crit damage, our damage rolls will always be on the higher end of our damage range, so a higher maximum damage is what we want. For our runes, I focused on magic heavy attack chance for attack runes, maximum mana for defense runes, and skill resistance or collision resistance for support runes. Or swap in fitting chaos runes with heavy attack chance or maximum mana. And that's it for my build. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments. If you prefer a direct approach, I stream on Twitch. There you can ask me directly. If this was helpful, useful, or interesting to you, please leave a like or even subscribe. Have a great day, stay hydrated, and stay focused. Bye bye.